This is a copy of a booklet I found in the library called Solidarity and Salutes, Issue 1. I couldn't find Issues 2 or higher, though. It was published 45 years ago, the same as Cheese.
Our valiant activism. Really? That sounds so old-fashioned.
Okay, let's dive in. We in this case refers to the students, while the terms reactionary forces and authoritarians refer to the teachers. The previous June, there was some kind of conflict, and Jun Sekitani, the president of the Classic Lit Club, spearheaded it. The students, under his leadership, engaged in what they called activism by sticking it to the teachers.
Interesting. I wonder what their methods of protesting were.
This solidarity and salute stuff seems a little silly, doesn't it?
What do you mean by that?
I'm not knocking it. I just think it makes a presumably common high school complaint out to be on par with a legitimate real-world protest, you know?
So does that have any bearing on this research?
Nope, I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry for interrupting you guys.
All right. Any questions, or can we keep going?
Well, here's my hypothesis. Like I said, cheese theory doesn't work. According to Solidarity and Salutes, the incident in question happened in June. As for what Sekitani did to get expelled, violence is what comes to mind, right? So in other words, he and the students he inspired got themselves all riled up. And they let the teachers have it. There isn't any evidence he actually hit anyone, though. Something happened that threatened to take away the students' freedoms. They must have rallied together to fight against that perceived injustice.
And my uncle was their leader?
I'm almost completely on board with your hypothesis, I think.
Why almost?
To sum up, your theory is that the students resorted to violent resistance in protest of some sort of oppression by the teachers, is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a decent hypothesis overall, but honestly, I think it's a little too vague to fit the bill.
Well, my theory doesn't mention anything specific, that's for sure. But are there flaws in it?
Uh-huh. Both Hyouka and Solidarity and Salutes claim the incident occurred in June, but we know he wasn't expelled until October. If he had led some violent uprising against the teachers, he would have been expelled immediately.
Fine then.
Yeah, I'm curious about why they'd wait 4 months to expel him, too.
In Hyouka, it states that it had been a year since he left, and it was published in October, so that must be accurate.
Okay, guys, I get it. My theory doesn't work.
I think you're on the right track with the protest, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Well then, I guess that means it's the end of my turn, doesn't it?
Yes, thank you for your input. Okay, moving on.
Sorry. Sounds like my stomach wants to contribute.
Jeez, you just ate a bunch of junk food.
Yeah.
I can make you some onigiri if you want. What about you guys? Sound good?
Hey, Chi, do you need any help with those?
No, I'm fine, but thanks for asking.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Handmade snacks, bro.
Calm down, weirdo.
Wait, Fuku, doesn't this...
Mayaka, I'm sorry. According to this data, your hypothesis can't be accurate, not even a little bit. I forgot to say it earlier.
Fine, whatever.
Is this the Kami-High monthly newsletter? I just remembered Togaito mentioning they were approaching the 500th issue.
Yeah, he's right. There are about 500. I took a quick look through almost all of the back issues, but my research didn't turn up very much. This article was all that mentioned an incident from back then, and trust me, I looked. Page 2 is a summary of what it says. The first one and the last one say the same thing. No violence occurred at all during the incident. So, Mayaka, there's proof against your theory. Also, if we refers to all of the students, it says they were in solidarity, so the entire student body could have been involved. At the very least, it means everyone in school supported those who actively participated.
Here you go. Thanks for waiting.
Wow!
These look amazing, thanks.
Sure. I made a few each of plum, kelp, and mustard leaf. Help yourselves, okay?
Thank you for the food. Huh? What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Tasty.
Delicious.
Hey, Chitanda, is this rice from here on your family's farm?
It sure is.
Oh, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, are you positive that this is the legendary movement that got Jun Sekitani expelled from school? This blurb doesn't seem like enough to support that.
Who knows? That's all I've got.
That's all you've got? How can we even count it as data?
I don't know, maybe we can't.
We can still consider it as circumstantial evidence, though. If the Jun Sekitani incident and the legendary movement were different events, there would be something in there distinguishing this as the legendary movement, wouldn't there?
She's right. That's what I meant to say. Thank you for sorting it out.
Okay, then what's your hypothesis?
Well, about that.
I'd love to hear it.
Unfortunately, I don't really have one to offer the group right now. My research only uncovered enough to correct the theory Ibara offered. And besides, it's not a database's function to draw conclusions.
I knew he'd say that. Now then,
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
what should I do?
Okay, Oreki. It's your turn now.
Hotaro, is this what I think it is?
The 50-year progress of Kamiyama's secondary school?
It is. I thought there might be something in the public record about the incident. But now that I look at it again, there's nothing at all worth mentioning to the group. I haven't come up with a hypothesis either.
What's going on? You're acting weird.
What's the matter? Did you forget how you're supposed to proceed?
You start by presenting your research.
Does this even qualify as something I have to do in the first place?
You're freaking me out a little.
What's up with you?
Are you feeling okay?
Stop it. Should I blow this off?
Whoa, you scared me.
Sorry, I forgot that I have some shiitake mushrooms drying outside. I have to bring them in out of the rain.
Do you need any help with them?
No, it's okay.
Hey, Chitanda.
What is it?
Sorry, but would it be okay if I used your restroom?
Oh, of course. Just go right through that door and then straight down the hall. You'll see it.
Are you nervous about presenting?
Straight down the hall. I'll see it, she says. While I'm lost. She's done so much research. The least I can do is put my brain to work for a bit. 45 years ago, something happened at Jun Sekitani. There are 4 different accounts. What's the common thread that ties them all together? I've got to think. Student activism, nonviolent resistance, 4 months between the event and his expulsion. What happened to Jun Sekitani? What did he do?
You sure were gone a long time.
Well, excuse me. It was my turn to present my research, right? Sorry, but I don't have a hypothesis. So would it be okay if we just skip my turn? We could move right on to the wrap-up.
Stop playing. You figured it out. I can tell.
Maybe. I think I've got a general explanation.
You've solved the mystery, haven't you, Oreki?
Calm down, Chitanda. Let him explain.
Yeah, come on, impress us. You better not let us down now.
All right, but I have to explain it in stages. First, let's establish the when. Well, we know it happened 45 years ago, for starters. If we trust both Hyouka and Solidarity and Salutes, then we know the incident took place in June, but that our hero left in October. Next, the where. We all know it happened at our own Kamiyama High School. As for the who, according to Solidarity and Salutes, our main player is Jun Sekitani, president of the Classic Lit Club. From the Kami High monthly newsletter, we learn that the entire student body was somehow involved. Now for the why. It makes the most sense that the students would rise up in solidarity against the teachers. To borrow from Ibara, the students likely rose up because something happened and they thought it threatened their freedom. And the event that caused the whole problem was the cultural festival.
Where did it say in any of the research that the cultural festival was the cause of it?
It didn't, but just hear me out for a minute. In June, the teachers and students met to discuss the details of the festival. And they decided that the event would be held 4 months later in October.
Are you referring to this part where it says meeting to consider the cultural festival?
Exactly. Now take another look at it.
There are circles and squares marked at the top of each entry in the calendar.
I've got it! Squares are recurring events that happen every year, but the circles are things that only took place that year.
That's right. The same notation appears on calendars for other years, too. This is the only year that they held a meeting to discuss the cultural festival. But why is that? I bet that 45 years ago, the student body demanded it. I found a clue in Hyouka. right here. In the past year, Senpai has gone from being a hero to a legend. The cultural festival will continue its 5-day run in spite of everything. I think the keywords here are 5-day run, especially with the in spite of everything.
What does that mean?
The length of the cultural festival is what Jun Sekitani was fighting the teachers for. I'm just guessing, but combine that with this mention of the principal placing heightened emphasis on academics. I believe that the administration is trying to shorten the length of the festival against the kids' wishes. I could imagine that throwing the whole student body into a burning rage. That was the motivation, I bet, the why. As for the incident itself, let's talk about that, the how. The valiant activism, which was popular at the time, was carried out by none other than Classic Lit Club president Jun Sekitani. This leads us to the ultimate question, the what. The students did not engage in violence. Instead, they most likely decided to boycott class. With no one to teach, the school had to acquiesce and meet with the students, deciding to abandon the plan to shorten the festival. But someone had to pay, and thus, Sekitani was expelled. So why did so much time pass between the event and the expulsion? Well, if he'd been kicked out in June while tempers were hot, it would have made things worse. So they probably waited until after the festival when the hype had died down a bit. That's all I've got for the wrap-up.
Now I finally know. That's what happened to him? Excellent work. That was really impressive.
No. Yeah, you've really outdone yourself with that one, Hotaro. It all adds up, huh?
Why does he get it every time? It's so freaking annoying!
It came to me.
Do either of you have objections to his theory?
None here.
I hate to admit it, but I think he's right.
Well, in that case, let's focus this year's Classic Lit Club anthology on proving Oraki's theory. We'll get started on that a little bit later in the term. On that note, I guess this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your hard work. I can't express how much I appreciate this.
It's not like I did it all by myself, you know.
That's true, but you're the one who found the answer.
I'll get your umbrella back to you at school. Well, see ya.
Although, would hearing that story as a child really have made me cry as much as I did?